7th. They finally pushed the fix for version 1. Last time you heard vulnerabilities for version 1 released over a year ago, right here in Wireless Hacking Village last year. So if you're talking about robust infrastructure, over a year to fix serious security vulnerabilities is not really what you want to see from critical infrastructure. They pushed both an app and firmware update. The new firmware has been over 32 megabytes, so we have not had a chance to fully sink our teeth into it, which is why we're going to be pushing the updated version of slides in the forums. As I mentioned, they are using known good ciphers. The ciphers themselves have been peer-reviewed. However, the implementation that the Gotenna is using has not been peer-reviewed. I've let them know about this as far back as October 17th, so I don't feel really too bad about releasing information here or publishing exploits. The response basically has been, well, if you don't like it, why don't you provide something better? And my response is, you are the guys who are pushing out robust architecture and saying that this is secure and this is what people should be using. The attack vectors that we have are the phone application itself. If you have other malicious applications on the phone, they can actually interact with the application. We have not found any malicious application on third-party app stores yet, but that doesn't mean there won't be by the time this talk is done. We have Bluetooth attacks. There's been a really cool Bluetooth rebinding attack, which means if somebody's sitting here and has their a Gotenna with them, you can force their phone to unbind the Bluetooth connection and essentially take over their Gotenna. You have USB attacks. USB debug is actually still turned on these Gotennas. So if you have physical access and you find somebody's repeater node that's been placed in a strategic high location, you can actually reprogram it and leave it there and nobody will be the wiser. You actually can mess with other Gotenna nodes. We've been playing with fuzzing over the Gotenna protocol, and the Gotenna meshes have not been robust at all. We've had numerous antennas lock up, and we've been able to save them with a firmware update over the air. But you can certainly go around and crash other Gotennas over the Gotenna mesh protocol. You can also push malicious firmware updates over the air because these devices are not doing proper certificate validation. Who here has seen zombies? I'm talking about real-life zombies. This is what zombies look like when the power goes down. People just mindlessly stare at their screen, hoping the bar will show up, even if they see that the cell phone tower is folded over in half. When you see zombies, you tell your dog to get her gun, and then you start building infrastructure. This is what keeps communications up. This is what helps hospitals communicate. This is what helps emergency services actually respond even in a grid down situation. This is a toy. This does not. Again, backup infrastructure, toy. In an emergency situation, I can hand you a radio, even though you may not have a ham radio license, and now all of a sudden you can connect to emergency services, you can communicate with other ham radio users, with police officers. If I were to hand you a Gotenna, if you do not previously have the application installed in your store and don't have all the firmware updates, the Gotenna is completely useless. Any questions? We have not found an F-Droid, so they've pushed a number of updates recently. So the Gotenna app for version 1 is up in F-Droid, but not the latest updates. The F-Droid store is about 3 versions behind right now.
As far as the protocol between the version 1, which was presented last year, and the mesh device that you're presenting this year, how significant are the protocol changes between the devices?
They're very significant. So they use different frequencies. Version 1 did not include any kind of a meshing. They had a better robust antenna, physically speaking. However, the antenna was less efficient. So the new devices, even though they're using less power, actually do have better range. As I mentioned, they have meshing. Right now, if everything works correctly, they can do 6 hops, versus the old version was direct point-to-point communication.
As far as the actual, like the datagram structure itself, has that, you know, if that's changed much?
They've updated their API twice since then. So yes, they're able to push more data between it. That's how they were able to add the cell phone backhaul.
And that's on the RF side, not on anything else.
Because they changed the protocol, it's been both a change in the application and the firmware. I still have not had a chance to dig into what they're doing with the version 1 that they pushed 4 days ago, because I've been too busy updating slides for the version 2. Any other questions?
What specifically is the initialization verification?
Essentially uses the GID for the private key.
Yeah, but if you don't have their private key from their phone, you can't keep that.
Correct, but neither does the other user. So essentially when you're operating offline, if I walk up to you and it looks like I have the correct GID, since your phone doesn't already have my certificate, it will just automatically trust it.
That's assuming you haven't done prior pairing and exchange of key. That is correct.
Correct, yes. Thank you everyone for coming.